Hey, all, welcome back to the Raw Autism Perspective podcast. Today, we are going to be diving deep into what elopement means and where it can lead. It's myself, Brittany, today, VP of Perfectly Puzzled, along with Samantha Waters, our founder and CEO, and the magnificent Ed, our community director. So, on the topic of elopement, what specifically does that mean for you, Samantha, as a mother with a child with autism?
That's a scary word because no parent of an autistic child wants to hear that their child eloped. So for what it means to me is my daughter left a place that she wasn't supposed to be. There wasn't anyone watching her. At times when you're dealing with a child with autism, they don't know their surroundings of what's dangerous. They're not looking to look right, both ways before I cross the street, things of that sort. All they know is what they see and what they want, and they're going to go get it. And that's scary to me because my daughter has done that many of times to where she'll leave and she'll go in the backyard, even though we have the alarm system and we still catch her. It's the fact that you were able to do that scares me because I don't know what could have happened to you. I don't know if there was something outside that could have bit you or you could have, drowned if you left my sight because my daughter's fast and it's hard to catch her. And when I say it's hard, it's just because, we're not young like that anymore. So when your child has this speed of light that is just, she could be right here and then they're gone, it scares you because you're just like, my daughter inside of her mind, she doesn't care. And she doesn't care about safety measures because she doesn't know. So I feel like that for me is very traumatizing almost because sometimes you can't sleep at night because you want to know if they left the house. You want to know if you accidentally overslept through the alarm. It's just a lot of things that run through your mind to where it makes you feel uneasy and you feel like you have to secure the house with 10,000 locks and your child might be watching you and they know how to unlock the doors. So I feel like elopement is something that we all need to really understand a little bit more so that way we could understand how to protect them when it comes to our household, but also in the schools. Because the schools have a tendency now, or it's been happening, but it's just now getting to the news because of social media of where a child is able to leave a aid site, like a one-on-one aid or the teacher side, and not blaming them, but we have to a little bit because if it's too much for you, you need to ask your staff for more assistance instead of being neglectful towards the kids. Because at the end of the day, when that child is gone, what are you going to say to their mom or dad? How are you going to even start that conversation of even saying that this child left my sight? What were you doing that was so important that my child was able to leave the school and now I might suffer from not being able to see my child again? So that's my little points on it.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear on that. And when we look at from the parent's perspective, it's literally what they stress about all day, every day, their child's safety, their child's development. And then from the school's perspective, I feel like there's a huge gap of accountability when it comes to schools. And that being said, because I didn't work in your typical elementary, middle, high school, I did work in a daycare. And I worked at a daycare for over the course of about 5 to 6 years. And I personally saw that gap a lot of the time being we're understaffed or we don't have enough teachers for this classroom. But meanwhile, you're still enrolling children into a classroom where teachers are overwhelmed and burnt out. I personally had children try to leave the school. I personally ran after those children. But it was also because I had a teacher in the classroom with me that I could take off to chase that child. A lot of the times they want to cram all these kids into one room and they have one teacher in there. If all the children in that classroom do not have any special needs and they can be maintained by one person, great. But a lot of times that's not the case. And I saw that myself consistently. I was given children sometimes who did have those special needs, who did like to climb and scratch and claw. And it wasn't because they were doing that on purpose. They have, like you said, they have one mindset. They have one train of thought. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going to go and get.
Right.
I'm not going to listen to reason, because I feel like that kind of goes out the door when it's like, no, this is what I want and I need it, and you're not understanding me, and now I'm getting frustrated with you, and I'm going to go and do what I need to do to get what I need. And the problem too is that when the daycares or even the schools are taking these children in, they're not taking them in on their individual needs. They're taking them in based on income. Yeah. Oh, it's just more money in the door. Just more money in the door. Just more money in the door. And less people to pay. And I've even worked at schools where children did disappear from the daycare. And wasn't the ones I particularly worked at, but they were the ones in our network. Remember one time we got a call that a kid actually got out the door, went down the street, and a neighbor just so happened to find them. What if that neighbor hadn't found them? What if that child had gotten hit by a car? We also had another incident where a child jumped out of a bus. The bus window, jumped right out of the bus window because—
that sounds like my daughter.
Yeah, because that's what that child wanted to do. I don't want to go on the field trip. I don't want to do that. So here's the window. I'm going to jump out it.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But I feel like the issue too is that the schools need to stop and say, okay, we need more staff. We need to take this more seriously. And we need to actually look at the children that are in this classroom and then provide to those children. And then if you don't have the resources for that, say you don't have the resources for it. Don't just tell parents what they want to hear and then something happens to their kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you also know that there's a lot of teachers who are around saying that, oh, well, I don't get paid that much to do this or do that. When if that's the case and that's the excuse that you want to use, then you don't need to work in this field.
Get a new job.
Exactly. And I don't think that you can keep using that as an excuse, because if you say that you're not paid correctly, or, you know, this school doesn't have that much funding, but yet the school just got a new playground. So why couldn't that funding also be split to where it also helps the teachers to get aids? Because I'm not going to mention my daughter's actual name of the school, but I did hear that basically they use people from the county who collect welfare. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, I'm not saying that the people who are collecting GR can't watch my kid. But you can't watch my kid, because at the end of the day, you have allowed so many kids to get injured. My daughter has literally jumped off a bus and hurt her shoulder. I was not notified by the teacher. I was notified by the bus driver. Now, it should have been the school's duty to contact me and let me know, because when my daughter jumped off, she jumped off to get to the school and the staff were just standing there. Now, the reason why I say that the people who are selected from the county should not be doing this type of service, because you don't have the training. But I'm not saying you can't go get the training. But at the same time, there are some people who look at a quick buck, because they have to also service their family. So yes, I have to do this job in order to get what I need. But if you're going to do that, I need you to take this title with pride. I need you to understand that my child could be your child. If you do have kids, I need you to really understand how to take care of my daughter, how to take care of these other kids, and not just think about yourself. Because at the end of the day, that type of mistake can make a lifetime of consequences, not just for you, but my child. So not just speaking just based on my daughter, but parents who also feel this and people who I've also talked to, I feel like it's necessary to have more aides, educate them. And if you're going to bring people from the county, what's wrong with giving them like a 5-day course on how to handle kids with special needs? What's wrong with that? Is it because it's too much money that you guys don't want to go the extra mile? What is it? But at the end of the day, you can't then point the finger and say, oh, well, it was Brenda's fault. well, Brenda didn't have the training. You guys just needed an aid, right?
Yeah, I think the problem too is that a lot of people look at this as glorified babysitting,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's not what it is.
Mm-mm.
And I also understand that a lot of teachers don't get paid a lot. Even in daycare, they get paid $10 an hour. But the thing is that you literally chose to do that job. You signed the application, you filled out the paperwork, you went to the interview, and you said, I want this. So, as somebody that used to work in daycare, one of the things that I did was that I went and got the education and knowledge that I needed, but I had to do that on my own. I feel like in the administration, it should be like that because they are required to do continuing education.
Mm-hmm.
They're required to do, depending on what level you're at, you're required to do anywhere from 20 to 30 hours of that continued education. But they tell you, okay, you just need to do abuse and neglect, and you need to do this one, and you need to do this one. And those are the only ones they require. Like they're only requiring like 3 different types, and you have to do those same ones every year. But they're not telling you also go get educated in autism, also go get educated in behavioral problems, because not just children with autism have behavioral problems. It's other children that also have behavioral problems, and you got to learn how to work with that. But they don't tell you, oh, go do this, this, and this. It's kind of just like, all right, go into the classroom, watch these kids, teach them some things, and then make sure you're doing your hours.
Right.
And they're hiring people because they're desperate for people.
Yeah.
Not because this person actually genuinely enjoys being around children. And then the environments there are also very toxic. Like every daycare that I worked for, except for one, was toxic. Mm-hmm. It was very toxic.
But that's where a lot of the issues are happening.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of school, Ed, you being a football coach and a coach in a lot of other things as well, and you also mentioning in the past how you've worked with kids with autism, but probably still do to this day. Have you came encounters with that even when you're at practice and they may want to elope?
So I used to be a playground supervisor at a LA Unified School District for a company called Beyond the Bell.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of times where I would have like 70 kids on the yard. Mm-hmm. Now for one person, that's a lot of kids on a playground that's like a football field, as big as a football field. Mm-hmm. And you got to make sure all these kids is in one area. Mm-hmm. So the state has the money to hire people to do it. And then if you work in education, you have to fill out a mandated reporter. Mm-hmm. You have to have that certificate to work in schools. So in that mandated reporter, it tells you how to handle students with certain problems, as they say, special needs. They show you how to do that. They tell you who to contact. So it's really people not using their common sense when they get these degrees. But then I say all the time, sense is not common. Mm-hmm. You got people that are doctors that still got to look at ChatGPT to tell them what to tell you on a procedure. You feel what I'm saying? So common sense, if you're going to go to school to be in education, then you have to learn that from K to college, you're going to meet different students. Mm-hmm. What is normal?
Nothing.
Who of us is normal? What human is normal? Mm-mm. We all, some can happen right now and can cause you to go into a trauma where your brain can fluctuate some type of way and cause you to have some type of mental disability.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So now how do you learn from that? Mm. You don't attack it by trying to make money off of it. You attack it by learning about it. And then if money can come from it, for sure. But a lot of these people that work in education is about money, especially in California, because California got the money. Mm-hmm. We have the money in California to do everything we need to do, to put the aides, to put the extra people in the schools. But I mean, like I said, it's too much like right.
But then too, also, even if we have the money, who is really going to be honest about their temperament? Because yeah, you can get frustrated with a child, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like what we see now. That's because it's social media who's bringing it to our attention. Mm-hmm. We're seeing so many leaked videos of where there are aides, there's caregivers who are beating on kids, putting them in a corner, locking them in closets, doing things like that. And that terrifies me because when I see it, all I feel like is, what was that baby thinking? What Like, not even thinking about the person who did it. It's just more so like, what is that child thinking? Like, what did I do? Even though they may not be able to voice it and they may be nonverbal, they still have feelings. Even though they may have a high pain tolerance, that emotional, you don't know what that could be. And they probably think that, oh, this is a quiet game that we're playing or anything like that. And it's just kind of like, these people are sick out here because you think that's okay. And I'm not about to sit here and be like, we need to stop. We just need to stop because the shit need to stop. You're just not going to do it.
Exactly.
So now it's holding the people accountable as far as the schools. If the caregiver is not going to do it or the aide is not going to do it, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. Are you going to fire them? Are you going to sue them? What are you going to do? Because at the end of the day, these families are suffering. These families are looking to you and you're not doing anything about it. And I just feel bad for all these families that really have to go through this because I'm not going to say it's not hard, but it shouldn't be like this.
It shouldn't. Go ahead.
Oh, and see, with coaching, I love coaching kids in general, even adults. But with coaching, I coach everybody the same way. I don't treat them no different. Even my autistic kids, I treat them the same way. My kids with ADHD, I treat them all the same way. Don't nobody have no favoritism. It ain't no separate treatment. Everybody in one line, everybody doing the same exercises. I don't treat them no different because I don't want them to feel different. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? The same way I talk to somebody quote unquote normal is the same way I talk to somebody that has autism or ADHD. There's no different. But then they laugh. They be laughing at me, which is, we have fun. Like, I'm a fun coach anyway. I'm a player coach. But a player coach is somebody who can identify with his players and also be able to, they can go out to eat and have jokes and laugh. That's the type of coach I am. So my kids, when they see Coach Ed, they know they finna laugh. But they know when they mess up, they finna do push-ups because I love push-ups. And they do push-ups. Like, I got a kid right now that's my boy. You feel what I'm saying? And he a little heavy, but he autistic. So when he mess up, he kind of get down on himself. Okay. But when he get down on himself, I tell him, come here. Because a lot of he don't like a lot of the other coaches. So he won't talk to them, but he'll talk to me. So I tell him, come here, man. Let me holler at you real quick. What's going on? I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. So what I do is I give him strategies on how to help him build his upper body. Instead, when the other coaches tell him drop and do push-ups, he try to do a regular push-up. So what I told him was drop the 2 knees. When you go to 2 knees, now stick your arms up a little bit more. Now do your 10 push-ups. So now when he out there doing his push-ups, he on 2 knees, but he knocking 10 out. Yes. You feel what I'm saying? And I told him, keep doing this, because when you do the 2 knees, now it's going to bring you to 1 knee. When you get to 1 knee, now you get 2 legs up. And now you're able to do your push-ups the same way everybody else is doing their push-ups. I told him, now look down there. Look at so-and-so. He on 2 knees too. No different than you. Right. He looked down at so-and-so. He like, okay, for sure. And for the past month, he on 2 feet doing push-ups now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So,
and I'm proud of you, and I thank you for really being there for him because he really needs that support. And you identified it, somebody who cares, somebody who listens, somebody who understands. And I really appreciate you. And with that being said, you guys, we are not asking for extra favors. We're just asking for our children's lives because we need them. Those are our babies. No matter if they frustrate you, those are our babies. So we thank you for the ones that are doing their jobs, and the ones who need extra training, please get that or leave kindly with all respect. So until next time, this is Samantha.
It's Brittany.
And I'm Ed.
And we will see you guys next time on Raw Autism Perspective Podcast, where we'll be talking about the neglectful issues and how elopement can cause a lot of people to lose their lives when they come encounter with swimming. Till next time.